Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. A quick one today. We're talking about projectors. I'm committed to still doing at least one projector video a week, while we also talk about some of the other human design types and that very important topic of deconditioning through tapping here on the channel. If we haven't met before, I'm Carolyn Southwell. I've been playing with human design and tapping for more than a decade for both of them, and I pair them together here on the channel. And today I want to answer a question from one of the that came in on a video. Now I'm going to pop the video up here afterwards, but it was on the video when people want your projector insights for free. So if that one interests you, you can check that one out. But I'll read the question to you. Thank you for thumbs up that you can see and hear me. That's great. So asking clients for testimonials. Now in the what that actually looks like for you if you are a projector running any sort of business, but especially if you are a coach, therapist, consultant, service provider, or somebody who creates products or programs, or even software where you as the projector are like very much a big part of that product or service. Okay, so it's going to apply to all of those contexts. So helpful for you if you're a projector in that situation, or if you're somebody who is supporting a projector in that situation, who is tripping over this question of like, I'm not getting as many testimonials or feedback as I would like. How do I do that from a human design perspective? So the question reads, if you are a coach of some sort, is it within the projector's strategy to ask pre-existing clients for testimonials since they've already previously invited you and are paying for your services? Great question. So the theory, as I was taught it, is that once you have a client, you can then go ahead and ask them for all sorts of things. You can ask them for testimonials, you can invite them into future programs or products or opportunities to get coaching or consulting or any kind of therapeutic healing kind of service. Now, my experience has been that when I do that, I usually get crickets, like total silence, or I get some, I'll have somebody who doesn't feel safe enough to say no. And so what they will do, even if they've had a great session with me, even if they have said kind things in the session, right? If somebody hasn't been automatically forthcoming, and that's what I'm going to talk about as your entryway in here. If I ask for a testimonial or review and there hasn't been an offering of some kind of positive feedback like that from the client already, then what it feels like in my body, and my experience reflects this, is that it's initiating. So either I get crickets, as in I get silence, I get no reply, or I have had people who haven't felt safe enough to say no, and so they've given some very stifled, tight, not very good review that isn't worth using anyway, right? Now, in my experience, what I have done in order to receive more reviews and testimonials is to notice when somebody has already been forthcoming, especially if they've done it in writing. If they have written me an email and said, oh my God, I just read your latest projector guide and it was amazing and I loved it so much. And it might just be one sentence like that, or it might be like several sentences about what it did for them, what they got from it. And I will reply to emails like that and go, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Would you mind if I use those words as a testimonial or as a review? And that applies to some of the products and the courses that I've created. If you're curious about any of those and you don't know about the products and courses that I create, a lot of them are on my website or linked there somewhere, so carolinesouthwell.com. Otherwise, you can ask in a comment and I can link you up with whatever is most useful for you. But it's also been true of coaching clients. So when clients have said, oh my God, that session was so transformative, I had this insight or I had this insight, then if I reply and say, That was really great. Thank you so much for letting me know how it landed for you. Would you mind if I use this as a testimonial? And I always ask from a place of not trying to. Our coaching industry is full of so many tactics of how to extract things from clients, of like we're almost entitled to taking our clients' words and using it as social proof and telling the whole internet how wonderful we are. It just feels bleh. I try and do as little of that as possible. I have tried to weed that out of my system as much as possible because I saw so much of it and I was so heavily influenced by that in the first however many handfuls of years of coaching, seeing it from very big names. And the more I got connected with the more my body, the more I'm like, I don't want to do that. How about, and this is what I'm going to tell you to focus on while you wait for to receive reviews and testimonials for your products, your services, your programs. Concentrate on doing really great work. When I shifted my focus from how can I extract as much social proof, as many 5 stars, as many testimonials as possible, so I can show the internet that I'm really good and they should come and everyone should come and take my courses and come and do coaching with me. When I shifted from that to let's just do really good fucking work that speaks for itself, then more testimonials and reviews and kind words and love and gratitude came to me without me having to ask for it, without me having to try. And only when it comes to me do I then say, oh, hey, I'm so glad that landed for you. Do you mind if I use your words? Now, back to the point that I was trying to make before I went on a little tangent, is as I am replying to that person, I always try and remember to word my reply in such a way that says, I would love to use this as a review or a testimonial, and I'm not attached. And I word it differently. I do almost all of my communication very, very intuitively. So I will trust my intuition about how to word that email or how to word that reply for that person in that moment. But my intention is always to say, I'm so grateful to receive your love. And if it feels good to you, can I use it as social proof to share with other people? If that's something that you're happy for me to do. Because I always want people to say it feels safe to say no to me. That's really, really important. If you are a coach, healer, therapist, person who serves humans in any kind of vulnerable way, please prioritize all of your communication, all of your marketing to help people feel safe with you, because you will do better work with your people if they feel safe with you. And then the better work you do, the more likely their lives are to transform and the more likely they are to say kind things anyway. It's just this positive feedback loop. Okay, so let's look at my notes quickly. Things to focus on while you wait. So doing great work, yes. The second point I have here is making it easy for people to say kind things to you, right? If you have such strong boundaries up in your business that it's impossible for people to get access to you, and that doesn't mean that everyone has to have your personal email address, like that's not going to work at scale, right? But having a way that people can even if it's click on a button that said, did you have a really positive experience? Would you like to give me a review, or would you like to give us a review? Even if you have that in your email footer, or you have it somewhere on your website, or you have it somewhere in, an email that goes out with, like I record on my client sessions. So when I send that out, I could put that in somewhere very discreet, somewhere that's very, not pushy, not in the person's face. But if they're like looking through the whole email and reading every word that I've written, then they'll find it, right? So if you can't receive, because of the scale of your business, you can't receive individual emails from people because it just doesn't work for the scale of your business, then make sure you've got ways that people can choose to review or give a testimonial or whatever the case may be. Okay. And then the third thing I've got here is to be grateful every time anyone says anything kind about your guidance as a projector. And this could be that you said something helpful to a person in the supermarket, right? And they were grateful. Receive their gratitude, because the more you can be in that state of being grateful for you doing your projector self in the world, being your projector self and guiding people, then the more that you're embodying the frequency that can happen more. And it doesn't have to be, it can be, but it doesn't have to be with clients. But certainly, anytime somebody says something kind in a session, let's say you get to the end of a session and they're like, wow, that was so helpful. Receive it. Even if that person never offers it in writing, even if you feel like you couldn't ask them to turn it into any sort of testimonial, just receive their kind words, because the more you can practice being grateful for your success, because that's what it is, it's your success as a projector in guiding another person, then the more you create the opportunity for more and more of that to happen. Now, this is all well and good. And you might say, Carolyn, I love the theory, but I can't do it. Like, I don't even know how to do that. I feel so bitter, so resentful, so jealous, so angry that I'm not getting the sort of reviews or testimonials as easily as you're talking about. When we are stuck in those quote unquote lower vibrations, that's where I find something like tapping incredibly helpful. Being stuck in those places is what I call a tappable issue. That means that if you have a safe, gentle, but effective deconditioning tool like trauma informed tapping that I teach my clients and in group classes, then you can start to unhook yourself from those incoherent or dissonant frequencies and gently work your way up to feeling more grateful and having more things to be grateful for. So I have put a link in the video description for the 2 ways that you can learn trauma-informed tapping from me. This doesn't exist anywhere else on the internet until AI crawls through all my stuff, of course. But until then, the only way to learn this is through me, because it's the body of work that I've spent the last 10 years developing. And it pairs so beautifully with human design. So if you know that you like the way I teach, and you don't have a solid deconditioning tool that helps you unravel and get unstuck from those quote unquote lower vibrations, and you're not receiving the sort of the number of reviews or testimonials or kind feedback that you would really love and that would really support your business to grow. Because I'm assuming at this point, if you're watching this, that you're doing really great work. I hope that you're doing really great work. That's what we need in the world. Then check out those links in the description. If you are looking at YouTube on your phone, because I know a lot of people do, below this video, there is a word in bold, more. If you click on the word more, then it will always pop up the description below any of my YouTube videos. And that's it for today.